Good morning. I'm going to share with you a couple of things I learned on my own based on observing how this all turned out, the static grass, and also from a tip or two from my YouTube channel. First tip comes from a user, and the tip or the suggestion was on how I was spacing the nails as I stuck them into the layout, and the guy observed that I was being a bit too symmetrical in how I spaced them, and that would be better if I put the nails in randomly. So that's a good tip. So instead of straight in a line like I had been doing, we do something like that, a little bit more zigzag, haphazard, a little bit more uneven in the spacing. So in case I need to put a shrub to cover up a hole or a flaw caused by the nail, it's more haphazard and uneven, and I don't have this regular straight line of holes here to have to plug up. So that's a very good point. And another thing relates to the order in which I put stuff down. I had someone suggest that maybe I should have put the static grass on first and then the ballast, because one of the problems I'd run into here is that let me go back over here, is that the adhesive, the dilute glue and water mixture, tends to seep back into the ballast. If you put a ton here, and what I end up with is that I have grass encroaching in on the track here, and unless you have some really basically if this right of way is just gone relatively unused, or it's a siding, yeah, then this would be appropriate. But for a main line like this, it wouldn't be. So I've had some people suggest that, well, maybe I should have put the grass down first and then the ballast. And because like I said before, the glue seeped into the ballast, and then the grass kind of stuck to it. Something I didn't think about while I was doing this, but and I've been able to clean it up fairly well. I mean, over here I did some scraping away. I probably need to do a little bit more vacuuming here, and it actually makes it look fairly haphazard and ragged, which would make sense. I still got a little bit of green here, a little bit of grass I need to clean up a little bit, so it's kind of a hassle that way, but nothing I consider tragic. I suppose, I don't know, I think that the order that you put this stuff down is ultimately your call, depending on what kind of effect or what kind of risks you want to take. For example, my concern is if I had done the grass first and then the ballast, I would have had the opposite problem happen. I would have had some of this adhesive seep into the grass and just have pieces of ballast stick on top of the grass in an unrealistic way, like that. This is just an area I haven't vacuumed up, but I don't want that either. So, and I was thinking probably a good compromise is, good thing to try would be go ahead, put the ballast down, then put the grass, but take some of this tape before you put the grass down, okay, and cover up your track like that. Cover the ballast up. Maybe just leave a little edge exposed so it gets a little grass, because that wouldn't necessarily be unrealistic to have grass starting to encroach on the ballast. And I think that was overall, that's my opinion, overall more realistic. But this would be something you could try. I think I'll try it down there, though having the grass fall on the track hasn't been quite as big of a problem as it is here. Down here where I'm starting to put grass on the hill, so that's something you may want to try. If you want to put your grass after you put your ballast down, just cover it up with a piece of tape. You may have glue seep under it, but at least your grass won't stick to it. So, and another thing I'm doing, instead of using an eyedropper to apply my glue mixture, I'm just using a cheap paintbrush. And I think overall that will give me more control over what I'm doing, rather than just drop it on with a with an eyedropper or that little syringe I had and just have it run randomly over there. I can, because the paintbrush, cheap paintbrush, will hold a lot of this glue, and to just put it on like this, see, got a lot more control over what I'm doing, just like that. So that's kind of the idea here. And I can put as much as I want or as little as I want, and I can, like I say, got better control over where it's going, rather than just drizzling it on there and having stuff run out into the road randomly, or even having too much of it seep into the ballast. I think part of the problem with having using an eyedropper or a little syringe is that I'm trying to get everything coated, and I couldn't coat it properly with the syringe, so I had to put too much on, so I just have too much running around. So this is probably a better way. These are like 50 cents at your local hardware store. I think this one was 50 cents, so really cheap. And if you wash it out and use that paintbrush just for applying glue, I mean, it doesn't matter if it gets a little bit beat up. So like I said before, what I'm going to do here for the ballast is put some tape on like that, and I'm going to leave ballast at the very bottom exposed, because I do want some grass encroaching in on it, and I can always pick away at the grass if the line, I mean, it's going to leave an even line, but I can always pick away at it with an old X-Acto blade and make it an uneven edge along here. So that's what I'm doing right now. See, this works a lot better using the brush like that. Got more control over what's going on. Whoops. Except my hand. Don't have control over my hand. Alright.